Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Run It Back. Oh, I totally matched the background. My bad. Lou, Chandler, DeMarcus is here, and we've got a lot of basketball, but Chandler was at the game, so we're going to start right there, my social butterfly friend. How was Lakers Mavs?
It was fun. It was electric. Speaking of traffic, it took me about 2 hours to get there, too, almost as long as it took me to get here this morning. It was fun, man. It was a lot of Dallas people were there. A lot of Luka's friends and family were there. Sat there with Mark and his son. So there was some playful trash talking early on. Every time Luka would touch the ball, Cuban would start booing him. And at one point in the game, Luka kind of looked over to him and literally said, "Mark, shut up." Everyone around kind of laughed, but it was a good time. You could tell there was just like a playoff atmosphere in the arena the whole night.
I love that. And people were very warm, and yeah, it's going to be fun. When they go back to Dallas, it'll be an interesting thing as well. But Luka had himself a game, and I don't know that anybody was doubting that was going to happen. Was also his first, I believe, first triple-double as a Laker. 19, 15, 12, 3 steals, 2 blocks. 6 of 17, but you know what? They doubled him a lot. What are you going to do? So let's start with grades, Boogie. What are you giving Luka for his first time out against the X?
I give him a effort.
A for effort.
A for effort.
All right.
I mean, it wasn't his greatest showing, but you know, he still put together a really, really good game. He came out, won the game. That's the most important thing. Still a statement game. You know, come in against your former team, drop a triple-double with a win. That's always a huge statement. So I'm okay with the effort. It was A+. I mean, obviously we would have loved to see Luka drop 60 and you know really have something to talk about up here. But you know, very, very solid effort all around. So. A work.
And I'll say he took 17 shots. He was 6 of 17, 1 of 7 from 3. He's been a little inefficient from field goal percentage standpoint, but this game meant a lot to him. And you could just tell after one of the early threes, he's screaming at the bench. Nico Harrison was sitting right behind the Mavs bench, and you could tell he was kind of looking in that direction. He was hyped up. He was chirping at the crowd. So he wanted this. And again, the Mavs' game plan was solely to stop him. Every time he'd cross half court, they'd throw a double at him. Every time he'd get ready to ISO, they would literally just take the ball out of his hand. So it's hard for him. I thought he was going to go and take 25, 30 shots. The way they guarded him made that pretty hard.
I need a grade.
A minus.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's an A minus. I would have liked to seen him be a little bit more efficient, but you could tell he was trying to kill. He wanted a big night. Like, he wanted nothing short of a big night. If he makes 4 to 5 of these shots, we're looking at a 30-ball triple-double on your former team. That's what you can ask for. But 19, 15, and 12 is also a great stat line. But you could tell he was in attack mode the entire night. He wanted to embarrass the Dallas Mavericks. Got the win. Not as a big of a game. We're sitting here chopping up a triple-double, because
for real.
Yeah, he was 6
I thought he
for
was going to have
17.
50.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to go nuts.
10 for 17. This makes this a 30. This makes this a 30 ball. But you can tell that he was in attack mode. He really wanted this game bad. So I give him an A minus.
And you know what's interesting? Watch this game. Obviously, all eyes were on Luka and how he's going to perform. But I was watching like Kyrie Irving, and it almost felt like he wanted to prove too that Luka's gone. This is now like I want to prove also they made the right trade, and I'm the guy. So he looked to me. He looked even more aggressive. He looked like he was trying to go for 42, but. That was interesting to me. Like, he almost looked like he had just as much to prove as Luka did.
It's a good appetizer, though. But I look forward to seeing the game when they go down to Dallas.
I was gonna say.
I think that's when we really get the fireworks. That's when we're really gonna get the fireworks. So this is a good appetizer. This was a good warm up. But I look forward to the next time these teams match up.
That's the thing, because afterwards Luka was like, "I'm glad it's over." I was like, "I don't think it's over. I think the
it's
real one's coming."
Yeah.
So he's just saying that just to say it, because we don't believe
But
that.
it's also so late too. Like, who knows even if the seeding is if they're slotted in, if they're even playing back then. I think it's like the third to last game of the season.
Silly.
So obviously I hope and I wish AD and everyone was healthy on the Mavs this time, but the game in Dallas will be a lot more emotional.
And one thing we aren't considering, this is Luka's first time going through this. It's not like this is his first time. This is first time getting traded, being on another team, having the experience of being on the other side of the ball with a fan base that's usually with you, even though they still feel like he's one of their own. So I'm sure there was a lot of pressure, a lot of attention on him that he wasn't used to. So him saying that this is over for the night, like, it's over for a while. But this isn't gonna go away for a couple of years now.
Oh,
so
no.
Get used to it, man.
And you could tell, too, the refs were letting them play last night. Like, they could almost tell this is going to be physical. They're going to go at it. It was such a just physical game from the beginning to the end. The refs, I got to give them credit. They let them play all night long, they were very consistent with the whistle.
See, Lou, and if we had our transparent grading system for the refs, we would be able to talk about it today without, giving them a microphone. I just love that you're so upset about that. Sources close, I love this. Sources close to Luka say a beast has been awakened inside of him.
Been awakened.
I mean, it is very dramatic. It's a very Hollywood trailer line. But here's the thing.
By the way, a beast has been awake for 6 seasons already. Like, how much more can we awake?
He was a beast when he was 350.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the point,
I hate
right?
to see him when he's 240.
I mean,
Did he not look skinny? He looks skinny to me.
Well, we love our storylines.
Yeah.
And we love to create some drama and something to talk about. Like, Luka has always been a beast. Like, that's never been a concern. Like, what is he gonna run faster now? What is he gonna start dunking? Like, I can't imagine. What is this? This is a step through layup like nobody is there, 3-pointer. Follow it down. Matter of fact, I get an and one out of it, even though it didn't go my way. Like, these are, what else
there
is
it
there?
is.
This is where
That's the one.
Yeah.
Look at the bench. Look at the
That's
bench.
the one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
19, 15, and 12 isn't beast-like work.
Feels like it is.
Yeah, like he just had 32 the other night, and obviously his pedigree is solidified in what he did in a Dallas Mavericks uniform. He's been a beast since day one. So I don't know what's left for him.
we really traded a generational talent over weight issue.
They did.
Over beer, it sounds like now.
No,
is the
don't worry
story.
about
He
the
likes beer.
Over 40
six-time
pounds.
all first-team NBA All-Stars run to the finals last year. Let's look at his body fat and trade him.
He gained weight while he was injured. And
While he was cooking.
thought, we should trade him.
He's eating. He's gonna gain weight.
Not in LA.
It makes no
He's
sense.
in the right place.
And I do think personally, again, this isn't just going to die. Obviously, it's good to get this game over with, but the big one is in Dallas, and again, this is going to be an ongoing thing. You don't just move on from something like this. I think he's still shocked, but he's my pick for MVP next year. Like, I think he's going to be on a mission.
100%.
He is on. He is that guy next year. He's going to get in the best shape of his life. He's going to spend all off summer proving, Nico Harrison, you made a huge mistake.
And I can relate to that. I could. When I went through my situation, when I got traded, literally that was my mindset going into that offseason. I'm gonna get into the best shape I've ever been in. I wanna go prove to the world like I'm a winner. I can help lead this New Orleans team to the playoffs. So I get it. I understand the mindset. I understand this statement completely. When I was talking to my team, it was the same type message. Like, I got to take my game to another level.
I mean, it was ugly. Like, it's one thing to be traded. It just felt very personal, like breakup, right? Like, it's one thing to be traded. It's another thing to be traded and then hear about, well, they thought you were fat.
Yeah,
Like, what?
okay.
It's not me, it's you.
You're a top 3 player fat, then fine. Then what is he gonna be when he gets in shape? It's like it's just it never makes sense to me.
Why would you do this? By the way, there was an ad released. Jordan Brand released it ahead of this game. Take a look.
All my exes live in Texas. And Texas is a place I
They do block out the last of the lyrics, but here he is pulling up in the car. Boogie, how are we feeling about this? I mean, that's crazy looking. What do you think?
Man, that's some good promo. I can tell you that.
That was
Sick car.
quick.
That's a sick car.
But Jordan's come with the heat. I like that they're backing him too. He had the first ad said like "sorry y'all" or "howdy y'all," kind of clowning
Something y'all,
the
yeah.
Texas terminology here. And now this, I love it. This is why you choose a brand like this to sponsor you and to back you in a time like this where you need all the support you can get. So I love this from Jordan Brand.
The car looks pretty cool.
Sick
That's his
car.
car?
It's his car.
They move fast in the
With a
Lakers.
Jordan symbol on it?
I don't know if it was always purple and gold either. I think it's a fresh paint job.
That's bearing the lead if it was always purple and gold. Let's talk Lakers for a second. They have won 13 of their last 16. They have the #1 defense in the league in those 16 games, and they've won 8 straight against teams that are 500 or better. 2 games out of the #2 spot. What is even happening, Chandler? Will they finish 2?
I don't know if they'll finish 2, but they've gotten a lot better and they're playing really well. And when you have guys like Jared Vanderbilt that are healthy, Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui, LeBron James who are bought into the defensive end, and now you have a guy like Luka who can come in, can handle most of the offense, the usage that he's going to get. Austin Reeves is still extremely aggressive, and it just seems like when you add a guy like Luka, I feel like some guys could get frustrated, limited touches. Everyone's still touching the ball on the offensive end. The way he's getting guarded, everyone's still getting their opportunity. You get a switch with Rui, you go to him with the block. Austin Reeves is a ahead of you in the break, you give it to him, let him go, and he's still unbelievable one-on-one. So I think everyone's just buying in. JJ Redick has them playing really, really well, and it starts with LeBron. Like, dude's 40 years old. He's playing so hard. He's diving on the floor. Like, when you have your best player and your leader like that, giving that kind of effort at his age is contagious, and they look like they're having fun. They're playing well.
Playing really good basketball. Playing fast, too. Like, we were concerned that they didn't have enough size when a trade didn't go through, getting rid of AD. Like, what are you guys going to do on the inside? Didn't matter. They're playing a fast brand of basketball, playing small ball. You got LeBron at the 4 or the 5, being a hybrid and being a quarterback on defense at 40 years old, giving them just the energy that they need to play at this pace. Like, I think this is a sustainable way to play. I think it works for JJ's style of coaching, and these guys are bought in, like Chandler just mentioned. They're playing really good basketball with it.
I agree. I mean, obviously it starts with LeBron. I mean, he's the veteran guy. He's the oldest guy on the team. He's the most experienced. He's the most established. And when you have all those things and he's leading by example on a nightly basis, like Lou said, it's easy for that to be contagious to the rest of the team. And also, you stick out like a sore thumb if you don't, fall that line. So obviously everybody's bought in right now with this Lakers team, and that's great for them moving forward.
Feels like there's a realistic window here. For me to say that is actually shocking, but it really does. Like, this all of a sudden is just a brand new situation.
Yeah, I'm in because we've been talking about it the whole time. Like, we thought some of these young teams were fool's gold. So we were waiting for one of these veteran-led groups to kind of take that step forward, right? We thought it was going to be Denver. Surprise, surprise, it's the Los Angeles Lakers and Denver. And now the young teams are kind of fighting for their lives. Like, OKC is the team that I said, yo, y'all are young, but y'all don't get any more passes. Y'all are the best team in the Western Conference. It doesn't matter what the age is. And then after that, okay, now where's the pecking order? The Los Angeles Lakers, led by LeBron James. Now Luka Doncic is getting going, and they got a supporting cast to go with that. They're going to be a real team that you're going to have to deal with, especially when you find your identity as a team. It don't matter who you have on your roster. It's going to give you an opportunity to win basketball games when you know what you're expecting going in and night out.
And but looking at this Western Conference standings, like, who else besides the Thunder and maybe the Nuggets are going to beat this team 4 times? Like, I'm taking them over the Grizzlies. I'm taking them over the Rockets. And with that experience now, Luka and LeBron James going to Oklahoma City, that is going to be a hell of a series. So obviously we're looking a little far ahead here, but the Lakers have put themselves in great position, and they're a top 3 team in the West, no doubt.
Yeah, that is crazy, because also, and then the Warriors, we've sort of started to pay a little more attention to as well. It's going to be all these old vets. You're going to want something fresh and new in the end. You're going to get the same people over and over again. That is how this works. We've seen this before. Tribute video time. I do love tribute videos in the NBA, because there's got to be a whole meeting before trying to figure out who gets what. So obviously last night AD gets one, but Max Christie also got one, because if you don't, it's kind of awkward. But if you do, it's also kind of awkward. Lou, how'd you feel?
No, well, that's the thing about tribute videos. It doesn't matter what you think their impact is. You don't know what he contributed to the locker room, how the fan base felt about him. And so sometimes a guy might get a tribute video like, well, what did you do? Your impact can be internal. It could be something that you did for the organization. Like we debate about statues. Who deserves a statue? It's all a matter of how you've impacted that particular. So we don't. We
thank you's nice. I like the thank you.
Yeah, sure. It's like, so we probably didn't feel like he deserved one or whatever. But if the Los Angeles Lakers and their fan
they did more
like,
thank you than.
It's just a nice thing to do, right? Like it'd be kind of rude. Like he'd be a little.
No,
like,
but it's not
say
normal.
Nothing?
It's not normal though. So he got one. If he got a video up there and they showed his clips, that's a respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a sign of respect.
Yeah,
it's a thank you for your service type of move. I mean, I think it should be done by default, regardless if you're a star player or a role player.
I think it's about
everybody plays their part.
But even if you're coming back with a star player, that's tough too.
It's tough. Because all the attention, all the eyes are obviously on Anthony Davis returning. And Max Christie's going to end up being a really good throw-in this tournament, who's going to be great for them.
Throw-in? I think he's going to be a really good
100%, but I'm saying he was just like a piece of the AD Luka trade. I mean, he's a starter guarding the best player every single night for the Mavs. I think he's had over 15 points like every game besides, I think, last night. Like, he's been absolutely balling. So
absolutely.
like Boogie said, I think it's just more of like a respect thing to like give him his flowers and, thank you for your service.
To not say thank you. Speaking of respect, Lakers fans showed a lot of respect to Nico Harrison last night, chanting, "Thank you, Nico." Chandler, what was it like in the building?
I love it.
And that is weird.
What's funny too is like Rob Pelinka walks around that arena like he won, like
God.
fleeced him. Like, you know what I mean? Like the crowd is looking at him, like dapping him up when he's walking by. Like
Did he have the slick back?
Oh, he got the slick back.
Did he have the weird
nice,
little jacket?
tight jacket.
Oh, little jacket.
But
the
like
baby leather.
he walked, yeah. Like he. By the way, we don't even know if they won the trade yet. We assume they won the trade, and I think they're going to be. But like the Laker fans love Rob Pelinka, and they feel like they fleeced Dallas and they won this trade. So Pelinka, it's like starting lineups. Every time he walks to a seat, he was dapping up people. It was hilarious.
Are you kidding me right now? Okay, but if you're Nico and he wore a little pale blue suit, like he was you saw him. Do you think he has regrets, or is he long gaming this, thinking he's still in it?
I think he's showing his best poker face right now. You know, just try to keep all emotions in order. Ignore all the messages and the statements coming to you, but there's no way he's sleeping comfortable.
And it's hard to say because that first game that we did see AD, we were like,
For 3 quarters were amazing.
For three quarters, we were like, okay, this might be something, and then boom, he goes out. The wheels kind of fall off of everything they got going on. So now we don't know what to expect from the Dallas Mavericks.
But it's no way. You can't sit here and tell me when this trade came about, like, that wasn't a concern for the Mavericks. Like, this isn't something that's new. Like, we've
He
seen
knew there was
this
going
from
to be
AD
backlash.
all the time.
But
injury.
I thought but for 3 quarters,
He looked.
for 3 quarters,
There's no
it was
knock to
quiet.
AD. AD's an
Yeah,
extreme
no,
talent.
for 3
but we know
quarters-
what comes with that talent.
Yeah,
Like,
but for 3 quarters, it was quiet, and it looked like, okay, maybe we will be okay. And then what's the number one knock on AD? He stays injured, and he gets hurt. And now the Dallas Mavericks fans are like, well, now this is our problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that started back the criticism of Nico. But for 3 quarters, it was quiet.
And I'll tell you this, they're missing Caleb Martin, Anthony Davis, Lively, Gafford. Like,
That's
they
a
are
lot.
banged up.
Yeah,
So when
yeah,
they're
wheels
full
fell off.
strength and they start winning games, I think this trade will kind of make more sense to the fan base and everything. But he had to have known there was going to be backlash. You don't just trade a Luka out of nowhere, but did he imagine that, you know, he'd need to beef up his security and his daughter is going to get, you know, bullied apparently at school? There's all these different stories coming
Wait,
out
how
like
old's
that.
the daughter?
That's
She like a
wild.
little...
Like that's a lot, and that's not fair. But you also this is a crazy move that shocked the world, and people were clearly upset about it. But
How old is the daughter?
how old's the daughter? Where we
she's in like high school.
oh, that sucks. It's no, like I said, there's no way Nico Harrison is sleeping great at night.
Full-time security apparently, 24/7.
Leave that
I know
young
people have
lady
full-time
alone. She had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, this is sports, people. Relax.
It is sports.
It's
Chill
just
out.
sports.
Young lady
man.
alone.
Also, I'm not going to school. I tell you that right now. I've stayed home for lesser reasons. So well done. Bucks Rockets. Okay, so this is a fun one because the Rockets had been in a moment, right? They lost 8 of their last 11 games. So to beat the Bucks the way they did, 197. Jalen Green finished with 25. Şengün finished with 23 and 11. This has got to feel big, like a weight lifted, right, Lou?
They got to put a bunch of these together, though.
Sure.
I'm sure it feels good to get a good quality win, but they got to find their rhythm again. You know, this is one of those young teams that we were giving a lot of credit to, and they were rolling, playing a really good brand of basketball, and they were tough, they were entertaining, and we liked it. And, you know, sometimes when you are touted for so many different things outside of basketball, you kind of lose your focus. This team lost their focus a little bit, so it's good for them to get this win. Let's lock back in, make sure we focus on the things that made us a great basketball team to begin with, and let's string together some good wins going into this postseason.
And by the way, the Rockets were a surprise early on, right? They got off to a good start. They had their core. It was how is Jalen Green and Şengün going to play together? How's it going to fit? But Udoka has these guys playing very, very well. They play hard. They defend. They're deep. They're one of the deepest teams in the NBA, just loaded with assets that they can better their roster this summer. And I feel like they do have to do that. They have to make some adjustments. They're missing something. But
And they could make moves.
But they're on the right track. Like
Yeah.
they are on the right track. I just felt like they're definitely coming down to earth. Are they a contender this year? Probably not. But they play the right way, and they're developing their guys in the right manner.
And this is a young team. Like, I think this is a part of it. Like, young teams have growing pains. You have really good stretches of basketball, and sometimes you run in those stretches of bad basketball. I still think this is a really good team. Obviously, they're well coached. It's a lot of talent. It's a lot of assets. So Houston is in a great place. But this is definitely the right step in the right direction with fixing the situation and getting back on the right track for the season. But as far as this season goes, if I'm Houston, I'm evaluating all this young talent because it's a lot. They have a lot of assets, and depending on how this year goes and where they want to take that next step in improving this team, you got guys like Ja Morant whose name is floating around on the trade market.
Crazy.
you add a guy like that and possibly a Devin Booker.
Couple guys on the Suns that would fit in this team.
A Devin Booker to the Houston Rockets. You got John Morant, Devin Booker. This is a totally different team. And, you know, next season we're talking about the Rockets being the contender.
That's crazy. And there's such a drop-off between them and the Clippers. It's kind of insane. There was an ejection last night, and Thompson with a neck-grabbing situation. Oops. Is that warranted, Boogie?
Yeah.
A little stout.
Had to get that new angle.
Yeah, it was the face palm at the end.
Yeah, that's no good.
But listen, this is my point.
He also got chin shots.
This is my point. Like, we're becoming accustomed to this team having this identity. Like, at some point, y'all still got to hoop.
Yeah.
Y'all got to remember that you got to hoop. When you done being physical and aggressive and grabbing guys around their neck and getting in all these skirmishes, you still got to put the ball in the basket and get stops. That's what I'm saying. When you're a young team and you're creating an identity, you gotta make sure you understand what's first. First things first. Y'all got to play winning basketball, and I think they lost their focus a little bit. And these type of plays shows that.
It's a non-play on the ball too. It's like you have to eject him here, right? It's not
Gotcha.
like he's swiping at the ball. It's like he literally puts his hand around his neck, which is obviously a dangerous play. So you gotta toss him here.
It wasn't bad until the quick neck adjustment right at the end.
It looks like
and
it
I
felt
think that's
great.
what took it over the top.
If you have neck issues, though, that looked lovely.
Yeah. But hey,
He's out tonight with
he had to
whiplash.
see it through though. Usually you hit him a little bit. No, I'm gonna come on.
Yeah, he
I'ma
committed.
come on.
He
See it
fully
through.
committed to the foul.
Gotcha.
You gotta see it through.
Problem is, you got to wrap him up. You can't let him get the and one. So when you're, like when someone gets you in a shot fake, you come down, you kind of wrap him up hard.
It was just that last
Can't
little.
do
It
it.
was
Yeah, that
this,
last
it was
little
this
face,
at the
last
end.
little face twist.
Not his
That's it.
neck.
Like something there. By the way, there's a staggering situation with Dame and Giannis, and I don't know what the fix is here, but the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, they're both on the bench, and there were no points scored. So, Chandler, from a strategy standpoint, do you stagger this? How do you figure this one out?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest kind of mountains to climb as a coach is figuring out the rotations. Like JJ Redick's going through it now where when does he take LeBron out? When does he take Luka out? Is there a time where they stagger it and you know, have someone else kind of step up? Maybe this is Doc trying to get Kuzma, his reps, kind of let him get into that third role. But you probably always want to have one of those guys on the floor at the same time. I would do that. I would stagger them, so at least I have that guy I can always go to. Giannis can get to the free throw line. Dame can obviously shoot the ball at an elite level, but that's kind of that's the key, I think. When you have this much talent, when you have two stars like that, you have to find a balance and rotate them properly. And this is 6 minutes with this is a tough stretch, so I wouldn't have probably let it go on for 6 minutes. But again, I think it's game-to-game basis on what's going on in certain scenarios.
That is a long time without points.
Definitely.
That feels like an eternity.
Yeah, but that just falls on coaching. Like Chandler said, that's something the coaches have to figure out. 6 minutes of not having your stars on the floor is a long stretch, especially with a team that's, you know, not as great as they could potentially be. So obviously a situation like this is going to hold the team back, but coaching's decision, they have to figure that out, put their guys in the best situation to keep the team flowing, keep everybody in rhythm, and, you know, obviously you don't want to go through a 6 minute stretch of not being able to score the basketball.
Just watching it feels like that takes forever. Like, put them back in. Cavs Magic also happened. There's no Darius Garland for Cleveland last night. And before the game, the Magic said it was a, quote, must win. And then they go on to get blown out by 40. So I'm a little confused what must win means in this case, Chandler, but that's a rough turnaround after saying that out loud.
Yeah,
That's tough. Go ahead, Chandler.
must win seems a little dramatic this early, but again, this is a team that started
Why
off.
would you say it though?
Especially to get beat by
40 though.
Or get beat by 40 without their
no.
starting point guard. Yeah, it's tough. And again, I think Orlando, they kind of remind me of Houston. They're like the Rockets of the East, right? They're on the right
got
path. They have a
crushed.
great coach. They have a young duo with Wagner and Paolo. So they're just missing something. They're inexperienced.
Really good
they
point
need a good point guard. They have guys like KCP too who are very valuable. They're just one or two pieces away from really taking that next step. But Jamal Mosley's one of the great young coaches in the league. They defend, they play hard, they play well. I think this is they're somewhere in between this kind of cold streak now and the hot streak where they started. They're a middle of the pack team, but they have their core going forward, and they're going to win a lot of games because of that. I don't trust them yet in the postseason.
Orlando, go get Trae Young, man. It's going to change your season.
That would be great.
Trae Young.
That'd be great.
That's kind of fun. I don't hate that. Lou, do you like that? I mean, that hurts Lou a little bit because of the Atlanta thing. But,
Atlanta.
all right.
I ain't.
Yeah, y'all rebuilding. It's okay. Y'all been rebuilding the past 10 seasons. It's okay.
No. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals
In a
3 years
rebuild year.
ago.
That was a rebuild year,
Nah,
too.
that count. I was there. You ain't taking my conference finals away. Count that
was fun,
bucket.
too.
That was the Knicks. That was when you beat the Knicks.
Count
That was
that
a fun
bucket.
night.
That mattered.
That was the
there.
beginning of the legend of Trae Young.
They went to the conference finals just to tank the next season.
To get Rosh Hashay.
I can't be in on this joke. All right, I'm out.
I appreciate you, Lou. You're always staying very true to yourself. I just want to say I'm playing devil's advocate on this next set of wordings, okay? Because it's giving me flashbacks to Tatum and Brown, but here we go. So we're going to talk a little PAOLO versus FRANZ Wagner.
Exactly.
Since PAOLO's come back, his points are down. FRANZ is up a little bit. Are we sure who the best player on this team is?
I don't think that matters.
Thank you. I didn't want to do it.
You're not even in a position. Like, that doesn't matter. You're a team that's trying to find success. Like, to sit here and start picking apart, like, who's better, who's the best, but none of that matters right now.
Especially
you have
lost a must-win by 40.
Exactly.
Y'all got bigger fish to fry than worry about who's better.
You got some young, good talent. As of right now, you're still trying to find your foundational pieces. We obviously know you have two in Wagner and PAOLO, so let's not...
It's a good place to be.
Let's not slop this situation up and make it worse than it already is. Let's continue to move forward. We have two foundational pieces. Let's go find a really, really good point guard, and we're going to move forward and try to find success with this young team.
It's funny. It's interesting you said that because I literally have here. It's like the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Like, why do we even have to compare?
We just
Obviously,
apologize for that.
They haven't
this week.
had the
We're not doing it
success
again.
Boston has, but it's a great position for the Magic to be in because you have these two young budding stars that are going not even close to their prime yet. They know how to play together. They're both versatile, 6'9", can handle, can defend. So who cares who's better right now? Let's just keep developing them and adding around them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to determine best centers, best sixth men of the year, and best careers that ended too soon. You figure out who has which category during this break.
Uh-oh.
That's rude.
We'll be back.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it.
We'll rank them. The top 5 centers. We will start with you, Mr. Cousins.
The
Start with number 5.
pressure, the pressure. Number 5?
Yep.
I do things a little differently. When it comes to my list, I'm going to pick guys that I feel, no matter what era they played in, they can play in any era. So this is my list at number 5. We're coming in with David Robinson.
What? Did you just change it?
Yeah.
David Robinson. Change it on the fly.
Take the graphic off. And at number 4.
I've been stressed out over this list. Number 5,
You
David
didn't sleep
Robinson.
last night?
No,
Wait,
no
hold on.
sleep.
What
no
happened?
sleep.
You looked at what you did do.
I felt like
and
JJ Redick. I couldn't sleep over this shit, man.
Because you had
Excuse my
Wilt.
language.
I mean, I was kind of rude that you left David out in the first place, but what changed?
Like I said, for me, I picked guys that I felt, no matter what era they played in, they can play in any era. They were still dominating whatever era they played in. So that's kind of how I went to this list. So David Robinson,
No argument.
5. Number 4 comes Nikola Jokic.
4. Okay.
4.
All right.
Number 3, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay.
Number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And number 1, big man of all time will be Shaquille O'Neal.
That's fair. That is fair.
Totally.
That's actually not a bad list.
And it's no knock to Bill Russell and Wilt. I'm sure it's some angry people out there after my list, but like I said, for me it's hard to put Wilt and Bill in there. No knock to their legend. They're absolutely legends. They're pioneers to this game. I appreciate everything they've done for the sport. But I just can't put 2 guys that, played in the league when it was 6 teams. It's just not fair to the others.
By the way, that is a fair... I'd rather hear that than just putting them in there because you feel pressure like you're supposed to put them in.
Yeah, I'm okay with pressure. I'm okay with pressure.
I know, buddy. I know you are. Chandler, what do you think? Or Lou, what do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think Shaq's the most dominant player, not even just center of all time. So I love that he's the number 1. Again, you can go with guys with crazier resumes from back in the day, but again, can they play in every era? Would they have the same success in every era? Who knows? But it's a good list.
I'm just laughing at the graphics department. Like, son of a
I love that Lisa just
Keep you on your toes.
Lisa just
Keep you on
yoked
your
that off
toes,
so
man.
quick.
Dang it.
Shit, that's not well.
You know what? I like this list, Boogie, and we agree. Sometimes we get pressured into adding guys that we didn't even see play. Maybe their games didn't translate here and there. I'm not going to start that argument, but I think this is a solid list
Appreciate
for where you are.
I like it too. I'm
well
older than
done.
you guys.
Well
I didn't
done.
watch them play. That's okay. So that's
Thanks for the
everyone's
support,
feeling.
guys.
Yeah,
So
everyone's feeling good.
So you got great centers and you get what?
I got the best 6 men of all time.
Here we go.
Can't wait for
So,
this one.
starting at number 5, I was going back and forth between J.R. Smith and Lamar Odom. I ended up landing on J.R. Smith at the number 5 spot. The way that he changed the game, went about it, put a bunch of points on the board. Lamar Odom went out and got a championship and won a ring in that six-man position and was a champion. So I was back and forth on there. But number 5 lands J.R. Smith. At number 4, I got none other than Vinny the Microwave Johnson, Detroit Pistons legend. When you talk about somebody that put numbers on the board that was essential to a team's success, Vinny Johnson was that, and a bag of chips. So I got him at number 4. Number 3, none other than Manu Ginobili.
Woo!
Now, see, Manu was a little tricky. He was a sixth man of the year, but he also would sub into the game so fast, he basically was a starter. Like, he would sub into a game at the 10-minute mark, 9.5, and play the rest of the quarter. Like, bro, you're a starter, but technically, he was a sixth man, but he was a world champion 4 times, if I'm not mistaken, Beadle.
Yeah, and he was also the deciding factor in the big Heat win in 14.
There we have it. And so for that reason, you were kind of a starter, bro. So you're at the number 3 spot.
Kind of a starter, bro.
Because that's where this argument starts getting tricky. It gets tricky with Manu because they count his rings opposed to Jamal and I's impact. So none other at number 2, Jamal Crawford. I put Jamal Crawford at number 2 because he and I had this conversation face to face, and he said it. He felt like I was the number 1 guy, and he put himself at 2. But
hell yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I've always said this as well because Jamal was so much more than a sixth man. Like, he had an opportunity to be a star. He had a chance to lead a team. Like, he really had a chance to spread his wings and become one of these guys, a Manu Ginobili type of guy. You know, something way bigger than what the sixth man of the year or sixth man of all time would be, but that's what he did. At number 1, I gotta put myself, simply because I got the records, I got the numbers, and that was something that I literally did for 15 out of the 17 years of my career.
Because you were never kind of a starter, bro.
I was never kind of a starter, bro. I only started.
Could have been.
I started 100 games out of the thousands that I played. So
wow.
Because of that, hey, listen, I did a long stretch on the farm as a sixth man, and for those reasons, I put myself number 1.
Anything stand out here that we have issue with, Boogie? Is there something missing? Do you like it?
I like the list. I just feel bad for my guy Lamar. I mean, it's a top 5, and I'm not mad at anybody on the list. I just, when it comes to Lamar, what he brought to the Lakers, you know, the impact with a championship team, I think that can't go unnoticed. But this list is incredible. Everybody on here is more than deserving. It's a tough list. But,
good one.
I agree with the list. It's fire.
And I agree with number 1.
Oh, buddy. Look at that.
Look at us.
That is hearts all around.
Moment?
You know what, Chandler? I started
So you guys get a bunch of great players. Let me tell you who
can I
got
say something,
hurt.
Chandler? Yours, I feel like, has room for, like, argument. Like, this is going to be
It's coming from someone that's been there before. Let's start off at number 5.
Careers cut short. Here we go.
All right, careers cut short is Parsons' topic of the day, which is highly offensive, but I'm very comfortable doing this. Number 5, I did Greg Oden. Now, here's the thing with him. These other guys on my list had good careers. They were just shortened. Greg Oden is kind of the what if. He's the mystery. He was such a great high school player, number 1 pick, consensus All-American. Like, at Ohio State, he was fantastic, although Florida gave him the absolute business in the national championship. He was supposed to be the next big thing, and it wasn't. So I just can't help but think how good he would have been if he didn't have that microfracture and all those surgeries early on. So I have him at number 4. Or number 5. Number 4, I got Yao Ming. This is someone that we had never seen someone with that kind of size, that kind of touch, and he still managed to have an 8-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA second team, 3-time All-NBA third team. He still has this resume, and I still think without injuries, he could have been one of the greats. He could have been on Boogie's list if he stayed healthy. He was that good. So at number 4, I have Yao Ming. Number 3, being an Orlando guy, I had Penny Hardaway. He had so many great years, but he played 704 games over 15 seasons and was only 2-time All-NBA first team. No other accolades other than that, really. So I just feel like his career was always kind of shortened by injury. He missed a lot of time. Him and I don't have Grant Hill on this list too, but like him and as a Magic.
I was waiting for you to finish because I'm like, where is?
Yeah, this one's tough category.
As a Magic fan, those 2 guys to me, they were always so good, and I thought they were going to be superstar level guys, and I feel like injuries kind of derailed that. So at number 2, this is a guy, he was one of my favorite players ever, Brandon Roy. He was on just this trajectory of literally being a face of the NBA type player. Was so cold-blooded. Highlights still. Go watch some Brandon Roy highlights if you forgot how good he was. Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Star. And again, I feel like this guy, when he came in the league, he was going to be a 10-time All-Star, Hall of Fame type player. And obviously, was derailed by injuries. And number one, it's Derrick Rose to me. This guy was one of the most explosive, best PGs. And when you really look at his career, youngest NBA MVP of all time. 50-50 if he gets in the Hall of Fame, which would be crazy because he'd be the only MVP to not be in the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, three-time All-Star, had 3 to 4 really good seasons. But besides that, he was just doomed with the injury bug. So he's the main guy that I was like, man, he should have been talked with, top 5 point guards of all time, and he's not just because of injuries.
Grant Hill was a big miss, bro.
Grant Hill was great.
But he played a long time.
I just think it's like Greg Oden. Greg Oden never even played for me to, I saw Grant Hill play. When he played, he was great.
Years.
Guys like Greg Oden and Yao Ming, they were just different where they played and gave me a little tease that I wanted more.
Who else is missing? I feel like this conversation is an hours-long bar debate because people start thinking of personal favorites.
Joel Embiid's one. He was hurt early on. He still won MVP. Can he stay healthy? If he was fully healthy, I feel like he'd be one of the greats. There's so many players where it's opportunity and injury has a lot to go into it. And everyone's talented, right? But I thought these guys in particular, I just feel like we're kind of doomed.
The Oden and the
Zion. Zion could be on here. He's missed a lot of time. There's so many crazy players that it's a short list.
Are we missing anyone? I feel I can't. I know you wanted Grant Hill, but
yeah, that's the only one. That's the only one. Thankfully, it's only a handful of these guys.
That was a tough list, Chandler.
Yeah,
Very tough. Yeah.
Throw Chandler Parsons on there.
Honorable mention.
Kid was going to be a stud.
You could be on. We're going to take a quick break. Contenders or pretenders when we come back.
Run it up, run it back.
Contenders and pretenders, because we're going off of sort of our vibes and the standing, right? Celtics, Thunder, East and West favorites right now. That's according to the Smarties. But we want to look at some of the others who happen to also be at the top, and that specifically is Cleveland, because they have the best record in the Eastern Conference, and yet 48-10, win total from last season, and we ain't even done yet. I'm going to start with Boogie. Contenders or pretenders?
Cavaliers, definitely contenders.
Okay.
One of the best teams in the East. They've improved so much from last season. Made a huge trade for DeAndre Hunter, who I believe is another good piece to help elevate this team.
Goodness.
The chemistry is there, the camaraderie is there. Donovan Mitchell and Garland have finally figured out how to play together and be impactful on the game. Mobley has stepped up. He's improved from year to year. Big fella is doing a great job protecting the paint. He's continuing to improve. So, everything is rolling for this young team. And I like the way they've done it. They kept their main guys there. They just improved over the years and, added a splash at the deadline to, take them over the top. So they're definitely
Right at the deadline.
Yeah, they're fully contended. I mean, they're 48-10. They're 6 games above the big bad Celtics, and they've been so consistent all year long. And last year, they were really good when they were healthy. And I think J.B. Bickerstaff still got the short end of that stick because they dealt with a lot of injuries. But Kenny Atkinson's coming here. He's probably runaway coach of the year. He's done a great job getting these guys to play together. They're deep. The DeAndre Hunter addition is fantastic. They get guys like Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome, and they have the guys that we have had great season that we haven't even talked about because
Ty Jerome last night.
Because they're so deep, you know what I mean? And then the growth of Evan Mobley also. He took that next jump to all-star status now, so they're 1,000% contenders.
They are one of 3 teams that follow the Phil Jackson rule, so it's either going to be the Thunder, the Celtics, or the Cavs that will win it all this year, according to the Phil Jackson 40-20 rule. So that's a little bit of a stat if you want to throw that in your nerd cap.
Thunder, Celtics, Cavs.
And Thunder. Yeah, you have to have 40 wins before you reach 20 losses, and only 3 teams have that this year. So that's it.
Happens to be the best 3 teams.
Yep, there you go. The Knicks are not one of them, unfortunately, Lou, and we're going to start with you on them. 37-20, they're third, but they've also gone 0-5 against the Cavs and the Celtics. So contenders or pretenders?
Contenders, and I'm gonna tell you why they're contenders.
Love that for you.
They're contenders because they're going to win their first round series, and then they're going to have to run into 1 or 2 of these teams that they've struggled with. And what's the hardest thing to do is to continue to beat up on somebody all year long. So the fact that they're 0-5 against Cleveland and Boston, respectfully, this is going to be a tough out for both of those teams to continue to beat the New York Knicks like this. This is a team that we already know they're going to play a 7 to 8 man rotation. So you're going to have a group that's going to be able to concentrate. And in a 7-game series, you're going to make adjustments. You're going to do things on the fly. I think they can contend and give a Cleveland Cavaliers a run for their money in the half court system if it go their way. And anything can happen in a 7-game series. And so for that reason, anytime you have talent, anytime you got a team that's willing to play defense, you can continue, you give yourself an opportunity. That's why I think they're still contenders, even though they don't play at the level that we would like to see them play against the top 2 teams.
And I'll say this, their rotations shorten during the postseason, the playoffs, and that is no problem at all for Tibbs and the Knicks because they play 6 or 7 guys anyway. So they are going to be used to this. They're going to be used to the minutes. They're going to be used to the high volume usage rate. So that does help. Their starting 5 is very, very good. Can Mitchell Robinson come back and be productive? Can Precious be good? Can Deuce McBride still be that spark off the bench? So they're kind of on the cusp. Like anything can happen, like Lou said, but I think they're ways behind Cleveland and Boston still.
I'm gonna be the oddball out. I don't think so. I just think it's not enough talent there. I love the starting 5. I love their identity being this tough, defensive-minded team.
You don't like Payne and McBride off the bench?
It's just not enough. And especially when you look at teams like we just talked about.
What about Landry Shamet?
We just talked about how deep this Cleveland team is. We're talking about, you know, the defending champs in the Celtics. So for me, when I look at this Knicks team and I compare them to these other 2 teams, it's just not enough. Like I said, outside of the starting 5, obviously it's a really good starting 5, but more depth. I would like a little more offense in that starting 5. I think a Brad Beal would, you know, be a good spot or a good addition to that team.
Blow it up.
And then I think they can make that jump to title contender. But as of right now, with what they have right now, really, really good team. Obviously, they'll make the playoffs. I even believe they'll make it past the first round. But after that, you know, things get a little shaky.
Pretenders for Boogie. All right, Bucks, 32-25, 5th in the East. We know they did the Middleton-Kuzma trade. Chandler, contenders or pretenders for Milwaukee?
Neither. Like they're neither. They're not.
Like man, pick one.
They're
Contend or pretend.
They're not going to win it all. So I guess they're not a contender. But I don't think they're. I think they are a tough out. I think they're a good team. They have really. I love the addition of Kyle Kuzma.
Pretenders doesn't mean they suck. It just means they're not going to win it all.
They're just as.
Stand on
They're
something,
just
man.
as. How do I say this?
Just say
I think they're just as much of a contender as the Knicks are. I really do. I think that series would be great. I don't know who would win that series. I really don't. I think.
Come on, man.
You like Knicks?
No, I like
Milwaukee. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think
about it.
So
2 Hall of Fame talents.
So if you think the Knicks are contenders,
I'll say it.
Then the
I
Bucks.
think they're pretenders. And I think they're pretenders. We just talked about them having a stretch in 6 minutes. They can't score the basketball and they can't figure it out
without their Hall of Famer.
Without the 2 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Like, something has to happen outside of those 2 guys.
Well, in the playoffs, the Hall of Famers aren't coming off the floor anyway.
Well, they not. But if they do,
Damn sure not for 6 minutes.
If they do, they just showed you who they are when they off the floor.
Absolutely.
So you're gonna have to keep one or two of these guys on the floor, and who's gonna give you something after that? You get rid of Chris Middleton, you bring in Kuzma for that scoring punch. I'm sure Kuzma will get it going, but you got to find something to come off the bench to give you something as well. And if you go in 6 minutes and not scoring a basketball, that puts me in a position to say you're a pretender.
I'll tell you this: 3-6 first round right now would be Knicks Bucks, and I don't know if I would take the. You said the Knicks are going to win their first series. I don't know if they will.
I say pretender. So you're saying contender?
No, because they're not going to win it all.
We do.
Do we ignore the fact that they
What do we do?
Somewhere in the middle.
No, you're in the middle.
Do we
I
ignore
say
the fact that they won the in-season tournament? Does that mean nothing? I mean, obviously
like we're
this is
ignoring
a team with some type of potential. They've shown that they can come together and win high-stake situations.
Yeah, it helps.
So do we ignore that going into the playoffs?
No, and I think that's great experience. But again, this is an experienced team already. They got Lopez, Giannis, Dame. Like they've all been there before. But yeah, I think playing in like an elimination game like that, playing in a big stage, that definitely helps. See, Indiana, they got hot last year from making that run, and so that definitely helped a team like that. I just don't think they're going to win it all. But I don't. So I guess they're not contenders. But
for the sake of this,
yeah.
It's not contenders. It's pretender.
Pretender to
Why can't you say that?
I don't like pretender.
Okay, fine. Then the Grizzlies. We'll do that one right now. 38-20, second in the West. This is an interesting one because I do think very much they fall into this. What are they, Boogie? Contender or pretender?
I mean, don't you feel rude saying pretender, but they're not going to win it all?
Yeah, I don't think Memphis is winning.
So you woke up today caring about being rude.
The rudest guy ever.
Yeah.
Good point, Lou.
Yeah.
Points, Lou.
I don't think they're a contender. I think they're a good team. I think they'll be competitive.
So what does that make them?
A good team.
I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts to say it.
It does not hurt.
I mean, I just don't see them coming into the playoffs and you know, beating the Lakers or Denver or anything like that 4 times. So I think they'll make noise. I think they'll be exciting to see. Obviously, with a star like John Morant, you know, you do give yourself a chance, but you know that relationship isn't in the best space. So I think this is kind of a make it break it year for Memphis. You know, whatever happens, I think they make decisions in the offseason.
So they won't make it, and then they're going to trade you. That's how they're going to excuse it? We're trading him because we didn't,
I mean, we've seen crazier. We've seen a team go to the finals and trade their
Everyone's on the
Everything counts now.
Yeah.
Anybody have them as contender?
I'll say they're a contender.
Really?
Yeah, but I also agree with Boogie. This is a make or break season.
Okay.
Like this is their opportunity to be a contender. If you don't do it this year, I think that window's closed after that.
It's just crazy because they're 38-20. Like they should, they're second best team. You know what I mean? Like they should be a contender.
You know somebody has to contend, right?
And I think in the West, it's the Thunder, the Nuggets, and the Lakers, not the Grizzlies.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said. We'll make this next one quick because
So
Lakers.
You take the next one then.
Contender.
Is the Lakers the next one?
Yeah, we started the show with
How about that little seggy? Yeah, I think they're contenders. I think they got better. I think they're healthy.
Those are good odds right there, Lou.
It kind of hurt not getting the Mark Williams done, but honestly, Jackson Hayes has shown that he's a valuable lob threat for these playmakers. Austin Reeves has kind of managed to find his way still with two ball-dominant guards or guys like LeBron and Luka. So I think they're a contender. I think they're poised. I think they're trying to maximize this LeBron James window right now, and they are a solid team. They're defending best defensive team last month or whatever we said.
16 games.
So now they're doing it all. Like, yeah, I think they are for real. I think they are a contender. I like them. Again, I like them. I like Denver. I like the Thunder. I think outside of that, everyone's just solid teams.
Mavericks?
They're healthy. If they're healthy, they have a chance. But no, I think they're another solid team.
3 contenders? I mean, I even think they're contenders in that.
I definitely think the
That hurts
Lakers
my
are
heart.
contenders. I mean, everything we've seen as of lately, they've definitely taken their team to another level. LeBron seems like he went to the lab, got some rejuvenation. He's playing out of his mind. Obviously, Luka is playing with a huge chip on his shoulder.
Bad combo for the rest of the people.
Yeah, I'm sure Dallas thinks he'll eat the chip, but, you know, that's besides the point.
Little snacking ass.
Boogie with a...
But, I mean, it's obvious. They're playing at a high level. Austin Reeves is playing at a high level. Definitely a contender.
Boogie brought writers today. All right, fair enough. We're going to take a quick break. More Run It Back on the other side.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, then run it back, run it back.
All right, Boogie Lou, we got time for one more. Pretenders or contenders, the Warriors. They're 6-1 with Jimmy Butler. Proved their record of 31-27. 8th in the West, just a half game out of the 6th seed. What we got?
Contenders for sure. This is the Warriors. We all know their history. We know what they can bring once they're in the position to be successful. They're now in a position to be successful. They added a huge piece in Jimmy Butler. They're playing well. They're flowing well. Steph is playing out of his mind right now. Obviously, when you get a chance to have a talent like that on your team, you always have a chance. Draymond playing out of his mind. You put 2 defensive guys like Draymond and Jimmy together, that's a scary team. So everybody knows the Warriors' best teams are when they're defensive teams, and, you know, this is one of those years for them.
With Kuminga coming back still, yeah?
Yeah, I think they're contenders. I like it.
Like it. So we got the Warriors, Thunder, Nuggets, and Lakers, and the Mavs on the cusp.
Absolutely.
It's wide open. See you guys tomorrow, 8 a.m. Run it back.
Run it up, then run it back, run it back. Run it up, run it back, run it up, then run it